And we are live. How is it going, people? So, there's a lot of information that I have for you guys tonight. By the way, name's Pirate Canvas, PC. And tonight, we are going to discuss a bunch of stuff. I have a bunch of things to talk about with this whole BlitzChung thing, the whole Blizzard thing, the whole Hong Kong situation. There is a lot going on right at this very moment, and it seems like things are not going to stop anytime soon. Hashtag boycott Blizzard is still a thing. And, I think people should still continue, smashing that hashtag around, getting it, out there as much as possible. And yes, support Hong Kong. That is definitely something I would suggest people to do because they are basically trying to fight for their independence. And you have companies like Blizzard who are trying to silence players from basically expressing their feelings towards their country, which is going through a lot right now. For those of you who don't know, Blizzard basically, they banned a well-known Hearthstone player, BlitzChung, a couple of days ago. He was banned for showing his support for the Hong Kong protests, which is still going on. And, he's showing pride in that, showing support for his country, which is going through, through this protest and everything. So, he didn't do anything wrong. So, they originally suspended him for 12 months, and they also took away his prize money. But yesterday, they decided to lower his ban, and they also gave back his prize money, which he earned. But, yeah, they made a statement yesterday, their president did, and it didn't blow over at all. It didn't go over anybody. And, yeah, people can see right through their bullshit, what they're trying to do. This was all pre-planned. Blizzard thought that they could just wait it all out. Everybody would stop talking about it, but no, it didn't do them any good because people are still talking about it. So yeah, that's pretty much what is going on right now in a nutshell. But it seems like there's more to it than just that. So I have an article here that I'm going to read to you before we actually get to BlitzChung's statement, which he made today, as well as discuss Riot Games, which they are also taking the knee on this. But let's pull up this article here. This is from Yahoo! So, this is about Tencent, the company that owns Blizzard. Well, actually, they're a Chinese business sharing. I actually looked it up on Wikipedia. They are a Chinese multinational conglomerate holding company founded in 1998 whose subsidiaries specialize in various internet-related services and products, entertainment, artificial intelligence, and technology, both in China and globally. So they own a lot of these businesses here that we use. Some of us use. If we play games like, League of Legends, which is, developed by Riot Games. Yeah, Riot Games is owned by Tencent. As well as some of the National Basketball Association, Activision Blizzard, and, of course, Epic Games, Fortnite. So yeah, they're a part of Tencent, and of course, Riot Games is also a part of Tencent. So, what does Tencent have to do with all this? Well, if we go through this article, we will find out. So, let's do this. Tencent Holdings Ltd. Can't get a break. And the title of this article, by the way, is called Tencent Gets Wake-Up Call from China's Assertions of Patriotism. Wonder what that can mean. Let's find out. The National Basketball Association, Activision Blizzard Inc., and now one of its most important portfolio companies, Fortnite proprietor, Fortnite proprietor, Epic Games Inc., have all sparked political controversy at a time of increasingly assertive Chinese nationalism online. You can also include Riot Games in that as well. A tweet by an NBA executive expressing support for Hong Kong protesters drew the ire of Beijing, throwing into question the billions by Tencent. Billions Tencent has invested in the U.S. Sports League. Then Blizzard, partly owned by Tencent, banned a gamer for endorsing Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement, triggering a boycott of the company's games for its apparent kowtowing to China. Most recently, Epic Chief Executive Officer Tim Sweeney tweeted his disagreement with the Blizzard action, eliciting calls for a boycott of its Fortnite game among Chinese players incensed by the perceived slight. So, that's basically what sparked this whole controversy in the first place. Basically, people being silenced for speaking out about the Hong Kong protest that's going on right now. At stake for Tencent are billions of dollars in ad and subscription revenue, along with its entire strategy of becoming a go-to destination for NBA broadcasts. Tencent had almost $500 million basketball aficionados tune in last season. That audience is now in jeopardy after Tencent halted game broadcasts in the wake of the Hong Kong controversy. So they are basically losing money from what this sounds like, and it's all because of this. All because of the Hong Kong protests and basically them silencing people for speaking up about this or bringing any sort of attention to this. So, it's a big wake-up call for Chinese tech companies, said Mark Tanner, founder of Shanghai-based research and marketing company China Skinny. Tencent had just inked a $1.5 billion 5-year deal to stream NBA games online in China. Its suspension of broadcasts followed a similar move by state-backed CCTV. So basically, it's the government that is basically trying to tell Tencent, hey, you don't need... We don't want you guys to be, mentioning this, which I'm guessing that's what is going on here. I mean, I can only assume, as an outsider, that's what all this is about. Because the Chinese government, they don't want people to know about the protest. They don't want people getting involved in this. They don't. Because it goes against them. It goes against the Chinese government. Tencent uses the online streams to sell ads, and the gargantuan scale of the audience drives its marketing business, which is expected to be a key driver of Tencent growth going forward. To spruce up its investment, Tencent has been developing memorabilia, entertainment shows, and video games based on the NBA. Advertising of Tencent Sports will likely take a hit. NBA is the star of Tencent Sports, so it could cause a contract of Tencent's advertising growth further, said Michael Norris, a Shanghai-based research and strategy analyst at consultancy agency China. NBA China woes threaten billions of dollars, decades work. A single tweet from the Houston Rockets general manager supporting Hong Kong's protesters was enough to spark a chain reaction, including an abridged history lesson by Alibaba Group Holding Ltd. Vice Chairman Joe Tsai, majority owner of the Brooklyn Nets. Alibaba has also yanked Rockets merchandise from its online stores, causing harm to both the NBA and Alibaba's bottom line. One of the main source of income being Fortnite. Actually, according to this, NBA is as well. Yes, I agree with you. Video games is also, Fortnite is also part of Tencent's income. But I think they make more money in the sports stuff as well. But, yeah. Let's see. After initially apologizing, the league went on to express its support for staff's freedom of political expression via a statement by Commissioner Adam Silver that sparked another round of fury in China, threatening to prolong the clash and the blackout. So that whole entire controversy started with this. Of course, the Houston Rockets general manager basically speaking about the protests. He made a tweet apologizing, yet I read the apology that he made, and it sounds to me he's still showing support for Hong Kong, but it's obvious they're trying to silence him. It's obvious. Because we got to bend our knee to the Chinese government. They're making us the money. We can't talk about the government, how bad it is. We can't because reasons. So we have to silence people. That's the whole problem with all this. That whole entire controversy here is what started all this. I'm going to skip some of this. Let's actually get onto this right here. Blizzard's stern reprimand of the pro-Hong Kong player. Okay, so they're talking about, of course, BlitzChung, who showed his support for the Hong Kong's protest in an interview during a live broadcast. For those of you who don't know, he basically said, liberate Hong Kong, something along those lines. To me, he did nothing wrong at all. He did nothing wrong, and he ended up getting banned by Blizzard for 12 months originally. Now, I think they cut it down to 6 months, and they also gave his prize money back, which they originally took it away from him, even though he earned it. And I hope he uses that prize money to fucking fund the protest. that would be hilarious to me if he did that. Just send the money to the protest, or donate it to some charity organization in Hong Kong. He could do whatever he wants with the money. Man, what isn't these guys involved in? They're pretty much in everything from agriculture to food delivery. They're into sports, entertainment, agriculture. They're into everything. They almost run everything. I mean, they're the largest game company. And this is according to Wikipedia from what I read about the company. Tencent is the world's largest gaming company, one of the world's most valuable technology companies, one of the world's largest social media companies, and one of the world's largest venture capital firms and investment corporations. So, they're a pretty big deal, apparently. And they probably have their mark on everything, just about it. I'm going to continue reading the article here. Blizzard's stern reprimand of the pro-Hong Kong player was popular in China, but drew outrage from the U.S. to South Korea online. Gamers called for a boycott of the company and proudly posted their cancellations. Then Epic CEO Sweeney jumped into the crossfire, explicitly giving Fortnite players the green light to discuss politics. The game maker is 40% owned by Tencent, but Sweeney is the controlling shareholder. Okay, so it sounds to me that Epic Games is doing the right thing here, because they're not silencing anybody. Because Tencent only owns 40%. But who knows? Maybe that might change. Tencent probably just isn't aware of it, but that could possibly change. And if that is the case, then that is that's bullshit to me. You should be able to talk about politics, especially in your own fucking country. Like, could you imagine, like, if someone got banned here in the U.S. just for talking about, the LGBTQ stuff, the whole, Trump administration and everything, if people got banned over discussing that in a live stream, could you imagine that? Like, do you think that Blizzard would care, honestly? No, I don't see that. I don't think Blizzard would give any shits at all if you talked about Trump or you talked about LGBTQ stuff. That is why they're such hypocrites when it comes to this Hong Kong stuff. It's basically them taking a knee to the Chinese government because, we could possibly lose them as shareholders and, then our company will be ruined. I wouldn't trust Epic Games to keep their word, personally. That's why I said I don't see this lasting long at all. I wouldn't trust Epic Games at all for anything. Yes, I agree. Even though Tencent owns 40% of it, that could change. That could easily change. They could somehow influence Epic Games to basically try to silence players. I could definitely see that. Nah, they are all about the money, nothing else. Exactly. Which, that's every company. Every company only cares about money. Come on. They're a corporation. And businesses, that's all they care about is money. They don't care about the players. They don't care about, the customers, obviously. They only care about making money off of you. And nothing else. That's always been the case, for every business. Alright, so let's see, where was I? The Epic CEO, Sweeney, jumped into the crossfire. Yeah, I already read that. His statement earned accolades in the US, but was shunned in China. Tencent, why are you not holding your dog on a leash? They are biting you in your face, one person wrote on Weibo. Tencent spokeswoman Jane Yip didn't respond to a request for comment. With its investments in Epic and Blizzard, Tencent has its brand on the line, but little control. Never have we seen this policing of China companies being extended to subsidiaries, said Norris, and that's what Tencent is having to grapple with. So, it's obvious the Chinese government is trying to force Tencent to pulling on the leash, saying, calm your dogs down, calm them down. Because, yeah, we don't want them to, we don't want them to speak. We don't want your dogs to speak. PC, if you're interested in the stuff that China's doing, take a look at China Uncensored. I would definitely have to look into that. But yeah, this is all Tencent, people. At the end of the day, it's this company that is making all the calls. It's obvious. And Blizzard wants to say, oh, this has nothing to do with the Hong Kong protests. It has nothing to do with that. But they're lying to you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have banned him. Like, there's nothing wrong with what BlitzChung's said. At all. So, I mean, it's obvious to me they banned him for no reason. All because he spoke out. Spoke about his country, which he has every right to do. I mean, I believe, even though there might be policies that sort of restricts certain things. Like, I could understand if BlitzChung was trying to promote violence or, entice, Hong Kong towards violence or anything along that line. But he didn't. He just said, liberate Hong Kong. Keep fighting for our independence. Somewhere along those lines. Nothing, no call to action, nothing that would suggest he's for violence or anything. Nothing controversial at all. They do a lot of reporting on everything that doesn't make it to the Western media. I'll definitely take a look into that. No wonder why they banned South Park in China. Yeah, they banned South Park because South Park basically made fun of them. That's the reason why. And, I love South Park. I really do. But, yeah, that's the reason why. Tencent is basically making the calls here. They could do the right thing by, not putting their dogs on a leash, telling them to not talk about the protest. But, they basically have no choice because, Chinese government, we got to take the knee for them. Okay, so, all right. I got BlitzChung's statement. He made a statement earlier today, which I was going to do a separate video on this, and I was thinking maybe I should just do it tonight and just get all this shit out there to you all. Alright, so I'm going to close this real quick since we're done with that. Alright, so of course he had to make this statement on Twit longer, and he posted it in Chinese as well as English. Personal statement, view on Blizzard's decision and future planning. Alright, so this is from BlitzChung himself. And I'm going to do my best to read everything, and then we'll discuss it. So, here we go. Thank you for your attention. In the past 1 week, this is a personal statement and my view on Blizzard's latest decision. First of all, I'm grateful for Blizzard reconsidering their position about my ban earlier this week. I told media that I knew I might have penalty or consequence for my act, because I understand that my act could take the conversation away from the purpose of the event. In the future, I will be more careful on that and express my opinions or show my support to Hong Kong on my personal platforms. Many people have been asking me if I accept the latest decision of Blizzard. I will discuss that on 2 parts, tournament prizing and suspension. For tournament prizing, I quoted that Blizzard said on the official website they mentioned that I played fair in the tournament and they believe I should receive my prizing. This is the part I really appreciate. Blizzard also said they understand for some this is not about the prize, but perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. People from Blizzard had explained this to me through a phone call, and I really appreciate that, and I accept their decision on this part. For a second part about the suspension, Blizzard had changed their suspension on me for a year to 6 months. Once again, I appreciate further reconsideration on this. To be honest, I think 6 months is still quite a lot to me, but I also being told that I can continue to compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit, which they mean the Grandmaster tournament. I appreciate for this decision they made because a Grandmaster is currently the highest level tournament in competitive Hearthstone. However, I wish Blizzard can reconsider about their penalty on the 2 casters involved. Lastly, many people wants to know if I would be competing in a Hearthstone in the future. Honestly, I have no idea on that yet, since my next tournament is very likely to be the Grandmaster tournament of next season. It's probably at least a few months from now on. I will take this time to relax myself to decide if I am staying in competitive Hearthstone scene or not. Hearthstone changed the way I live. I really love this community. Blessing to all the players out there, and blessing to Blizzard. Alright, so yeah, I call Jinping Winnie the Pooh, and you're screwed. They do a lot of reporting on every. Yeah, I've already read that. Hell, the character is banned in China. Oh, most definitely. Yeah, they banned South Park, and they banned Winnie the Pooh. that is messed up. That is messed up. They would ban Winnie the Pooh. That is fucked up. But after reading that statement, it sounds to me, he's taking it. He's taking it very good. From what it sounds like, he's thankful for the community coming out and supporting him. But after reading this, this makes me question Blizzard even more. I mean, the guy did nothing at all. I mean, yeah, it sort of does take away from the whole purpose of the tournament, sort of. But it wasn't like he was saying it while he was playing the game. This wasn't an interview. He was in a post-match interview, I believe, is when he made those comments. So, I don't understand why Blizzard decided to ban him for 12 months. And it's crazy. Peppa Pig as well, because the character was used with gangsters. The absolute state of China. Wait, they banned Peppa Pig? Yes, they banned Peppa Pig. They banned everything! I'm just kidding. Yes, they banned Peppa Pig because apparently Peppa Pig is a symbol of gangsters, apparently. And that's crazy. That's crazy to think. It really is. But, I mean, I know that, something tells me that he's probably gonna come back to Hearthstone. I mean, he loves the game so much. He really does. I mean, it's obvious, it's making him a lot of money. And who wouldn't turn down money? Despite all this shit, happening to him. I don't see him completely dropping the game. I really don't. Because just from the way he expressed himself in this, sounds like he loves, the game. He loves Hearthstone. And, being part of the community, it means so much to him. So I don't see him stopping playing Hearthstone. But who knows? Who knows? Only time can tell. Yeah, it's gone as far as having her tattooed in their bodies. Who would seriously have Peppa Pig tattooed onto their bodies? That's just fucking crazy. I was more happy when they banned Avril Lavigne for that Hello Kitty song. Damn. By the way, guys, I'm gonna just give me one moment here. I'm gonna take me a quick restroom break real quick. Just give me one moment. All right, I'm back. Let's see. What is the chat talking about now? she was involved with a subculture in China called I can't even read that. Shohiran, which means society people, and they are anti-establishment. LMAO. And that was probably the reason why they also banned tattoos. It's gone as far as appearing in rap songs in there as well. Damn. I honestly think it's a apt. Peppa is a spoiled brat, but imagine being in the triad and sporting one or two tattoos of gangster Peppa. Wait, we should make that a thing, like gangsta Popeye is. Oh yeah, that would definitely stir the pot in China. Yeah, China's bizarro land. Like, but that's the thing. They're a communist country. Uh, they of course there's a lot of things that are messed up with that country. Uh, not just that country, that whole continent. The whole continent of Asia sort of is messed up in ways, which you could say that for every country though, and every continent. You know, we're all messed up in our own little way. But yeah, that's pretty much all BlitzChung said about this. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's upset at all. He's basically taking this into consideration, and hopefully he comes up with a decision, whether he wants to continue or not. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to support him regardless. Like Popeye's Chicken or Popeye's the character. I'm kidding. Don't ban me from China. I'm probably already banned in China, to be honest with you. I mean, I have a tattoo. So wouldn't that automatically ban me? Because they don't want people with tattoos over there, apparently. Right? Popeye the Sailorman. Alright, so that's pretty much it in terms of BlitzChung. But that shouldn't come as no surprise. A lot of these companies that Tencent owns basically taking the initiative, basically bending the knee to China. That should come to no surprise. And that's why a lot of people are upset. But now we're gonna move on to we're gonna talk about Riot Games, because John Needham, he actually came out with a statement, and this is in regards to their championship, world championship tournament that is going to be taking place this weekend. Alright. I've seen some of those shirts around. PC, you would be banned for making that character from your last stream. I probably would, but I don't care. I don't plan to visit China anyways. I'm never gonna go to a country that is going to silence me, that is going to prosecute me for speaking my mind. So, yeah, I'm not ever gonna go to China ever. So, yeah. As we near, I'm gonna read this statement made by John Needham from Riot Games. As we near this weekend's League of Legends World Championship Group stage, I want to take a moment to speak clearly about how we approach sensitive topics on Riot's broadcasts. As a general rule, we want to keep our broadcasts focused on the game, the sport, and the players, which is perfectly understandable. I mean, I can understand their reasoning for that, I mean, people go to these tournaments, they compete because of the game. It has nothing to do with politics. I agree. But people also have every right to speak, especially when it comes to controversies. That's something that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't silence anybody. But nevertheless, we serve fans from many different countries and cultures, and we believe this opportunity comes with a responsibility to keep personal views on sensitive issues, political, religious, or otherwise, separate. I agree with that as well. These topics are often incredibly nuanced and require deep understanding and a willingness to listen, and cannot be fairly represented in the forum our broadcast provides. Therefore, we have reminded our casters and pro players to refrain from discussing any of these topics on air. Our decision also reflects that we have Riot employees and fans in regions where there has been or there is risk of political and / or social unrest, including places like Hong Kong. We believe we have a responsibility to do our best to ensure that statements or actions on our official platforms, intended or not, do not escalate potentially sensitive situations. We'll always strive to deliver a great competitive experience for players and fans. It may be idealistic, but we hope that League of Legends can be a positive force that brings people together no matter where they are in the world, even if it's just one game at a time on Summoner's Rift. And that is a statement from John Needham, global head of League of Legends Esports. Alright, I saw a few of those shirts from Viva Fashion. Oh yeah, this right here, I understand, the position that, Riot Games finds themselves in. I mean, after all this shit that blew up with Blizzard and BlitzChung, I can understand they don't want to create another controversy. But, under that same token, I think it is wrong to punish someone for bringing up these issues at all. It doesn't matter if, here's the thing. If it's in the game, if it's during game and they bring up these issues, fine. Suspend them. That's fine. Because that shouldn't be the focus at all. The focus should be on the game. That's what everybody wants to see. But to ban them for supporting their country, or, telling them they can't talk about this stuff post-match, or, any other time that, is not during a match, that to me just comes off as, we need to, not create this, whole situation again, the same one that Blizzard did. So why not just silence everybody? I was never into those games. Question is, League of Legends a good game? I've played a little bit of League of Legends. Honestly, it's a fun game if you're playing it with your friends. Like if you're playing it with people that you know. But playing it, in the community and stuff, how toxic it is. Yeah, League of Legends is pretty toxic. They have a pretty toxic community. And, I'm not really big into MOBA games. But regardless, though, I wouldn't tell someone to not play League of Legends. Because I have fun with it when I'm with friends. Or when I'm drunk playing it. So, yeah. But, nevertheless, it sounds to me that they're trying to take precautions here. They're in such a state of fear. That's what it sounds like to me. They're in such a state of fear. Oh, if this slips out, if one of the players says something about Hong Kong, then, this is going to create another hashtag for us. It's going to say hashtag boycott Riot. No, if you let the players just speak their minds, then no one's going to boycott you at all. That's the way it is. People are going to show more support for you if you let people just speak their minds. I mean, I can understand, during gameplay, that is fine. Suspend them, because that shouldn't be the talk. That shouldn't be the talk during gameplay. But if it's a post-match interview, or if it's something like what BlitzChung did, they should not be suspended for that at all. But yeah, this to me, this whole censorship thing, and with the whole fear mongering, because the Chinese government, we gotta bend our knee to them, otherwise we aren't gonna be making that money. It shows us that these companies, they don't care about the players. They don't care about free speech. All they care about is, of course, money. And I'm not talking about free speech as in the First Amendment or anything, because China doesn't have a First Amendment. They don't have the same freedom of speech laws as we do. Because, I mean, it's obvious. The Chinese government is trying to silence people from talking about this whole protest. But yeah, they don't have the same free speech laws as we do. But I believe in the principle of free speech. Having anyone from any country being allowed to express themselves, to be allowed to say whatever they want. That should be a principle. It's a principle that I believe in. I mean, yeah, I may not agree with your speech. I may not agree with your opinion on things. But damn it, I'm going to protect your right to say that, or your right to say whatever you want. And I know a lot of people might use the whole, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. And no one's making that argument. I mean, if a bigot were to speak his mind, or a racist were to speak his mind, or a Nazi, even a Nazi, I would still let them speak. Because in the end, they're going to make themselves seem stupid. You shouldn't try to silence anybody. And I'm saying I'm fighting for the principle of free speech. I'm not fighting for the First Amendment. The First Amendment has nothing to do with this. What has to do with this is just the principle. And that's why people are, boycotting Blizzard. Because they're in the wrong. And I think they should boycott Tencent, period. They should boycott everything from this fucking company. Not just Blizzard. They should boycott Riot Games. They should boycott the NBA. And, of course, they should boycott Epic. If Epic decides to not let their players speak on this whole matter. But yeah, boycott this entire company and let them burn to the ground. Because all they care about is our money. And the best way to talk is with our wallets. Alright. Ironically, their constitution claims that there's freedom of association, speech, and so on, but it's a facade. Regarding China, I will defend your right to free speech to the death. Exactly. Everyone should have that principle. If you truly believe that we are all individuals and that we all have every right to say what is on our minds, then there is no doubt that you have that principle. But a lot of people seem to forget that. People want to go out of their way to silence everybody. All these big corporations think that with money, they can silence us. But that's not going to work. And money speaks louder than words. So I say, boycott the fuck out of Blizzard. Boycott the fuck out of Tencent, period. So, yeah, who's speaking now? I hope that things will soothe down sooner or later. I don't think they are. I do not think they will. because this has been going on for months. Everything that's going on in Hong Kong has been going on for months. And people are just trying to keep their you know, they're trying to keep their liberty. They're trying to keep their freedom. Because the Chinese government can't stand that. The government of China, they want to take over Hong Kong. They want to take over all these mainlands. They want to silence all these people from speaking about their government. And that they can fucking do whatever they please. They could come in and fucking take away everything from you. And I don't blame the people from protesting. I doubt it will be in the same level as the Taiwanmen massacre, since all phones have cameras now, and we are very connected. Yeah, it's gone to the level that they are using live ammo to control the protesters. The CCP has no values or humanity. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine, our government, in the United States, could you imagine if they ever were to turn on us? The whole thing of our Constitution and everything that applies here in the U.S., we fought against tyranny. That's why the Constitution was written the way it was. That's why people have the freedoms that we have. Is because we fought against a tyrannical government that wanted to silence us, that wanted us to not say anything about our monarchy, our religion, anything. But the United States, is a country that is established, that we have, freedom. We are the only country that has true free speech. Hell, you could be a racist. You could be a racist. You could be a sexist. You could be whatever you want to be. I may not agree on it, but at the same time, I would protect your rights. You are still a U.S. citizen. You have rights. And it has nothing to do, like I said, it has nothing to do with just the First Amendment. First Amendment only applies to the government. The government cannot silence you. But I believe in the principle of free speech and what it should mean. And it doesn't matter where you live. You can live in bumfuck Egypt, and I would still protect your freedom, your right to say whatever you want. But yeah, China is just so fucked up in their own, like the Chinese government, just so fucked up in their own little world. I mean, this is a very good way, but the Brits could never stand up against a bunch of drunk libertarians, and that's why the revolution in the US was brilliant. Absolutely. Which, by the way, the US was founded as a Republican. We are a Republican nation. That's the values that we had. Because we were against tyranny. That's why we have the separation of church and state. Because we don't want churches to influence, our government. And we don't want our government to influence churches. The government is to serve one purpose, and that is to protect our rights. That's all a government should be for. It shouldn't be like China, where they try to silence people for protesting against something that is so inhumane. It's just crazy how they're treating criminals. People that do petty shit. Even the petty theft criminals in China. They are wanting to extradite them. Fuck, I can't even say it. I'm so adamant about this whole ordeal. Even if you do a petty crime in China, you are to be punished for it. And that is fucking crazy. A constitutional republic. Exactly. Yeah, we're a constitutional republic. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry. All this is just messed up. It truly is. And I can only hope that companies just stop kowtowing to the governments, all these different nations and stuff, and just actually try to listen to your customers. Especially when it comes to situations like this. It's like, come on. At least try to be reasonable. Dude, take a look at this documentary on YouTube. It's called The 9 Commentaries of the Communist Party. And yes, I do know that China is a communist country. And that's probably why it has so many problems. Why that country has so many problems. And I don't care if people over at China get upset with what I say. But your government's fucked. It has fucked up priorities. I mean, if your country is trying to silence you from speaking against it, then what is the point of living there? Fucking pack your shit and move out. Come on. Find a better life. That's what I would tell people. Because that's wrong. It's wrong for a government to just treat its people like shit. Even better if you can find a playlist. There's several. I'll have to take a look at that later on. Because, I mean, I've been looking into this a little bit more than, a lot of people have. And I've, of course, been, discussing this with my friends on Discord. China's just a mess. It is a complete, total mess. It's about how the Chinese Communist Party took over China and turned it into an authoritarian hellhole. And that's the problem right there. That's the main problem right there. Authority. People trying to be authority. Trying to take over everything. Trying to control what other people do. Trying to control their country. I can't stand that. I can't. I really can't. Brings my piss to a boil. And it's crazy. And I just want people to just be able to express themselves however they want, no matter what country they're from. That's the principles that I hold in my heart, Doesn't matter what you did. You could have done the worst crime imaginable. I would never take away your right as an individual or your right to say what is on your mind and what is on your heart. I mean, that's something that you can't do. I mean, that's like the worst thing you could do to a person is take away their right to be a human being. So, that's my thoughts on this whole ordeal. I think it's insane. And the Chinese government just wants to take control of everything. because they don't like the fact that, you know, the people are trying to fight back. They don't like the fact that people are protesting against this. But guess what? Guess what? People are doing the right thing. At least you have people that are willing, even if they get punished for it, they are willing to fight against the system and fight for their liberty, to keep their liberty, to keep their freedoms and their values. At least you have people like that, which says a lot. It really does. But what do you all think? That's something I'd like to know. What do you all think about this? Do you think that companies like Tencent should kowtow to the Chinese government? Do you think that they should silence people for supporting this protest? I'd like to know. I'd really like to know. Me personally, I wish that, these companies would have the balls and not have to take the knee to these governments that try to control them and everything. Try to control the players, the customers that buy the products. They shouldn't control what they say, what they do. I mean, it's understandable if they were talking about the protester in the gameplay, during the match. That's different. But if it's not during the matches and it's like a post interview of someone just saying that they support the protests, then there's nothing wrong with that. It's no different than someone speaking for LGBTQ people. Do you think that Blizzard would honestly suspend somebody or ban somebody for speaking about LGBTQ stuff? Or even talk about, Trump? Do you think that Blizzard is going to silence them? No, they're not. Because they don't care. They don't honestly care. They did this because, the Chinese government is on to us, And they can't deny it. They can't deny that the Chinese government had influenced their decision to ban BlitzChung. And that's why everyone doesn't believe their bullshit. And I think that people should continue to fight against these, corporations, and also stand for Hong Kong. Protest with Hong Kong. So that's really all I have to say about all this. I just want to know what you all think in the comments section. Thank you all for watching this stream. And yeah, honestly, it's an utterly an absolute mess. Honestly, it's an utterly an absolute mess. People need to continue on having their voices to be heard against the Chinese government. Well, not so much just the government, but it doesn't matter. People shouldn't be silenced about anything, especially if it's something that they stand for, something that they are against. They shouldn't be silenced at all. But that's really it, I think that people just need to continue this, continue to be the voice for the right, and not bend the knee to authoritarian. Shouldn't have to do that. But nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. The private segment needs to grow a pair and call out China on their BS. Absolutely. Couldn't say it any better myself. Thank you all for watching this stream. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Canvas Pirates, as well as subscribe to the channel. Matt and Trey from South Park did the right thing. I agree with you, Red. Yes, they did. They did the right thing. They basically called out China, and you know that's what everyone should do. Not just call out, you know, the corporations that are, you know, taking the initiative, that are taking the knee, but call out, you know, the Chinese government. I think that's what people should do. But nevertheless, I'm going to end the stream. You all have a good night. I may stream later, actually. Might stream on Twitch. I'm going to try to find a game to play. But that's going to be later on tonight. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you all know on Twitter when I'll be streaming. So I'll talk to you all later.